What's happening, BDA family? I thought I'd do this video because I never really got a chance to give my 2 cents on this Anthony Joshua Ruiz fight. Obviously, because it was late last night when they sent the link. It was like 4:45 in the morning. I was just getting into bed, flagging like hell I was. So I just weren't up for the talking box, and so I went to bed. But I don't hide away from anyone. You know, I thought I'd do this video, give you my 2 cents, and tell you well, I think it went all wrong for Joshua. Do you know what I mean? And first off, you have to give Andy Ruiz Jr. all the props in the world, man. The first Mexican heavyweight champion, and credit to him. And you know, and big up to all my Mexican friends in the BDA family. I mean, they must be happy. Their first Mexican heavyweight champion, and he deserved it. You know, he won the fight comfortably, and he deserved it. But Anthony Joshua has to have a serious look at himself now. Does he want to be the heavyweight champion of the world? You know, does he want to create a legacy, or does he want to be a pretty boy for the desperate housewife brigade? You know, which one is it going to be? Because muscles is. Let's be real. I'm not blaming this defeat on muscles, but the muscles that guy's got, it's just not helping him at all. We're seeing him time and time again flagging in fights, and it's usually around between 3, 4, and 5. He starts to slow down and look a bit flaggy, and then he gets like second wins. But this guy, I mean, he got clipped with a shot, and it wasn't really a clean shot either. It was a grazing shot. And Andy Ruiz has never shown me that he's an explosive puncher that can just graze the side of your head and things start to happen. I've never seen that. I know he's a decent puncher and he's got quick hands, but it was alarming how Joshua got rocked by that shot, and his legs just never recovered. And that's down to the tank. I don't think he was massively hurt. When you looked at it, it just didn't look massively hurt where his eyes were rolling, and it was just his legs give way on him. And that's alarming, because it doesn't matter how good you are at punching. If someone can just graze you by the side of the head and then basically takes you out the fight because you never really recovered, you know, the snap in your punches had gone, you know, more robotic than ever. Obviously, when you're a robot and you're fucking flagging, I mean, you're going to be a malfunction robot, and that's what he was. I mean, muscles was a big part of this though, because when you're carrying that sort of muscle, the amount of oxygen that burns, I mean, he's just not built to be a fighter. I mean, when you look at Tyson Fury, how comfortable he does 12 rounds, and when you look at the physique of the guy, I mean, there's not many men in the world that you know, all men want to have a good physique, but no one gets up in the morning and goes, I want to train until I look like Tyson Fury. It's just, no one says that. But people get up and say, I want to look like Joshua, sort of thing. But that's not going to win you fights. We've seen it time and time again. It was a bit, I mean, as an example, Jeff Lacey, look at that guy. He looked like an American pit bull on steroids. I mean, the guy was just ripped. And look at Calzaghe. But we all know what happened in that fight. You know, muscles do not win your fight. And Joshua he's got so stuck in this mode of looking pretty for the ladies instead of doing what's right for his career. I mean, everywhere I turn the telly on, he's doing some sort of fucking corny ad. He's here, there, everywhere. Totally took his eye off Andy Ruiz, which is a terrible mistake. Now, I gave Ruiz 4 rounds. I got it wrong. But let's get it straight. I weren't the only one. I don't think anyone... Well, Gonzalo's the only one that listens to our show that said Ruiz will win. But with Gonzalo, even though he knows his boxing, I find Gonzalo can play the devil's advocate sometimes, where it's easy just to pick the underdog, because once in a while, you know, there's going to be a shock and you look good doing it. I mean, let's be real. That's how it seemed with me, because no one else was picking it. I don't even think Gonzalo was confident. So And I'm not taking a shot at Gonzalo. I just felt he's playing the devil's advocate with that one, like he did with Mikey and Spence. But that's just him. He can do what he wants. But no one else was calling this fight for Ruiz. It was a big shock to everyone. But what we saw is how bad Anthony Joshua is at the moment. The decline has been there for a while. I've been saying it. I mean, I know. Apparently, I got a bit of stick last night. I heard someone told me that I was getting a bit of stick, and everyone's going, "Where's Stu?" But whenever did I talk about Joshua like he was my hero? I just backed the guy because he'd done everything right so far at that time. You know, in 20-odd fights, 3 belts. He was trying to make the big fights. He's a nice guy. Whether all these people want to clown Joshua with these memes that clown him and that. Like, I can understand if you want to clown a fight when he's a piece of shit, arrogant one at that. But Joshua's he's a nice guy, isn't he? You know, look how he took defeat. He's a nice guy. Why do you want to hate on a guy that's probably really down at the moment? You know, it's got to be the worst moment of his career. Well, it is, isn't it? Let's be real. And you know, this is the thing. It's just a real toxic, nasty community, the boxing community. They're just scum of the earth. I was even saying to Butcho, even the BDA chat's become very toxic lately. Just real scumbags. And like I said, I've got to the stage where I don't care if any of these clowns like me or not. Obviously, there's the originals. If you're one of the original guys in the chat that have been there from the start, I'm not talking about you guys. You know, the Quags, Shepherd's Son, and all them sort of guys, you know, and the list goes on. Michael Stock, not Stock, he's been around. All them sort of guys, you know. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about there's a new breed of BDA listeners, a real scumbags like that Bay Area. What a fucking piece of shit he is. I don't know if he's a Mexican or I don't know what he is, but he's a piece of shit no matter what he is. A real fucking low life. I mean, it's people like him is why people want Trump to build that wall. It's because of people like him. Because who'd want to keep Butcher out? Who'd want to keep Butcher out your country? Fucking one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. BDA, welcome them with open arms. And people like Bay Area. I think he's a Mexican, but I'm not sure. But he's a piece of shit. I know that. And Nepal and all them. And I know there's some real scumbags in that chat, and they're really having a good time with this Joshua. And they've seemed to have targeted me because they seem to think that I'm a Joshua fanboy. But I've never ever once I talked about this guy like he was superhuman. I said we need to get this fight because him and Wilder are going to lose soon. I didn't expect it to be against Ruiz. I just thought he'd have enough for Ruiz, but I knew the loss was coming soon, and I expect Wilder to lose soon as well. And I was going to pick Wilder to stop Ortiz in fashion, but after what I saw the other night, I mean, and because you know, we're not going to forget here, are we? That Wilder, I mean, we could have been laughing about Wilder being stopped against Ortiz, but Wilder got his minute break, didn't he? After the bell rang, he got his break, and then he got another minute on top of that when the ref decided that the doctor should have a look at him at the start of the round, not during the minute rest. After, I mean, if Joshua had probably got another minute, you never know. He probably could have got some sort of legs back. I doubt it though. Ruiz always looked the stronger guy in there. Ruiz kept his shape, showed his amateur experience. Really, never really got flustered in there. Where Joshua was just robotic, sloppy, leaving his chin in the air. I think the knockdown was probably the worst thing that could have happened to Joshua because he was actually keeping behind the jab on the back foot and he was controlling Ruiz a little. Well, he weren't dominating, but he was controlling the fight. But yeah, fucking, he lost it. He's a bit like Wilder. You know, when Wilder gets someone hurt, his shape goes. He starts fucking windmilling, and that's what Joshua was sort of doing. He just lost his shape, lost his technique. It was just went all out the window, and then he got it was a glancing shot to the back of the head or side of the head, and he just never recovered. And I even though it was a great performance from Andy Ruiz, I still think Ruiz is there for the taking. Let's not get too excited for Ruiz now. That's how bad Anthony Joshua is, and I just don't know where he goes from here because he can lose a stone and a half of muscle. He can get a new trainer. He can fight different ways, but it's like if you keep reacting like that when you get clipped, then it's going to be a long way back for him. And Wilder, the same's going to happen to him. We've seen it. What he got glazed by Brazil, and he did a little fucking dance. I mean, Ortiz had him all over the place. Tyson Fury could have stopped Deontay Wilder. Just doesn't have that inner fight in him. He's so stuck in his boxing ways, which is a good thing really, because it keeps him from getting hurt, sort of thing. But he's so stuck in that defensive minded style that when he has to turn it on, he struggles to up the gears. But where does Joshua go from now? I mean, people are saying he should have a warm up before Ruiz. No, he's gonna have to take that Ruiz rematch, because if he can't beat Andy Ruiz, then the chances of him getting them belts back are going to be 0. Because I just don't see. I mean, just don't see him beating Wilder and Fury right now. Not on that. If Fury would have played with Andy Ruiz, that would have been an easy night's work. Trust me. Andy Ruiz is, he's a Mexican. He's tough and he's fast with his hands. But Fury would have played with him. He would have kept him at range with the distance. But Joshua just played to Ruiz's game. Sit in the pocket and trade with a guy that's got faster hands than you, that's smaller than you, so he can come under your shots. Joshua didn't really use his size and his height and his reach like he should have. So, yeah, fucking did everything wrong. And I've noticed the decline in Joshua since Rob McCracken turned up. I mean, Joshua's quite explosive under Tibbs, I think it was Jimmy Tibbs or his brother. But as soon as McCracken got involved and took over, McCracken tried to change him into a boxer that picked his moments and a counter puncher, and he just hasn't got the slickness. I know we don't like that word slickness, but I mean, the rhythm, the movement, the footwork. He's a robotic sort of guy, so you have to use his strengths. And I just felt McCracken tried to. He's tried to change him into something he could never be, and I think Joshua's confused. And the arrogance of Anthony Joshua as well. I mean, saying like in the fight, he's talking, it's too early to start throwing the hooks. Joshua's going on like he's picking his moment. When it's time, I'll stop this fight. The arrogance was, talking about Wilder and Fury and Dillian White and everyone else, just totally forgot that he had a dangerous opponent in there with him. He just arrogance, and it cost him. And for all you guys that want to bash us Brits, I mean, if I remember right, I saw a Nigerian flag on Anthony Joshua's arm, a tattoo I think it is of a Nigerian flag on his arm. Well, Joshua can own that now. He can own that tattoo. He's basically stated where he's from. So the Nigerian world champ got knocked out last night. No, Joshua's one of us. We're not like you fucking Yanks that turn on anyone that gets beat. He's still one of us. Still, he's still my boy. I'm hurting because he got beat. I'm hurting. I won't lie, I'm hurting. But I'm a man that comes and shows my face when my boys get beat. I don't hide from no one. But that's about it, really. Well done, Andy Ruiz. Really looking forward to seeing where he goes from here. I mean, I want him to take the Joshua rematch. I think he will in the end, because the money will talk. But, Heyman could do the ratty thing and feed him to Wilder. But I wouldn't be surprised if Ruiz did that to Wilder as well, to be honest with you. I think with Ruiz, I think you've got to be a good boxer that can keep at a distance, a Tyson Fury, Lennox Lewis sort of fighter that can fight off the jab and keep Ruiz away from the pocket sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's it. Well done, Andy Ruiz. Anthony Joshua, back to the drawing board. God knows where we go from here. I think on last night's performance, I think Dillian White would have stopped him. And is it Hrgovic, the Croatian? God, man, that would have been destruction. So Joshua, he's gone from being the number 1 to like 5 or. I mean, let's be real. For me, Usyk is not even fought in the heavyweight division. He's the best man there. He's the best man there. He'd fuck it. If Andy Ruiz is doing that to Anthony Joshua, what would Usyk do to him? I mean, Wilder. So he's not the best. Fury's there. I keep forgetting Fury. Fury's better than. I think Fury would beat Usyk just for the size and the style. Wilder's is a 50-50 fight for me. I just want to see how Usyk. If Usyk can start well in this division, and he's looking very strong. I saw him. He's putting a lot of muscle. He's looking very strong. If he can settle into this heavyweight division and do what he does in the cruiserweight, I mean, he's got to be top 2 for me. And he hasn't even fought in the division. But I'm out of here. Fucking disappointed. Really am. But I'm out. Laters.